Okay. See, here we will talk about the solubility of solubility, the concept solubility. See, the solubility is, suppose, if you take 100 amount of water or some specified amount of water, okay, or any solvent, in that, if you add some salt or whatever it is, okay, so how much amount of that salt or solute is soluble in a particular amount of solvent, that is called solubility. Okay, so it is when we go into some common laboratory experiments or something like okay, in industrial applications, okay, we need to know how much that particular solute is soluble in a solvent. Okay, so here we will see two aspects, solubility of a gas in liquid. I am sorry, solubility of solids in liquids. See, here, we need to know there are a few things, okay. See, for instance, if you add sodium chloride into water, we know that it is soluble, right? Sodium chloride, it will easily undergo, it will become soluble in water. On the other hand, if you are adding okay, if you are adding something like benzene into water, that is not going to become soluble in water, right? That won't soluble. But here, sodium chloride, it will be soluble in water. On the other hand, if you are adding benzene into naphthalene, or else, if you are adding benzene into hexane. Okay, hexane is a liquid type of solvent, right? Okay, so hexane is a liquid type and it is a solvent. If you are adding benzene into water, so that is going to be soluble. But on the other hand, see, if you add a benzene into water, it is not going to become soluble, right? So what determines this solubility? How certain solids are soluble in certain solvents, how certain solids are not soluble in particular type of solvent. Actually, there is, if you are sitting in a class, okay, you will have the tendency to sit along with your friends, right? What determines that friendship? There will be something similar to both of you. Maybe something what you like will be there with them, or something he like, maybe what will be there with you also. So we can say that there is one proverb, right? Birds with the same feather gather together. So same way, in the chemistry, we can say like dissolve alike. Okay, so the same type of the chemically if something is similar, okay, that will be mixing each other. See, for instance, what determines the sodium chloride to be soluble here? Sodium chloride, it is an ionic salt. Okay, it is having Na plus and Cl minus ion. So it is an ionic as well as polar. Polar means, if there is a negative and positive charges are separated by a definite distance, those type of substances are called polar substances. Of course, water is also a polar solvent. Water here, it has some partial polarity because the oxygen is electronegative atom, so it pulls the electron towards it. Okay, so it will have some negative charge and it will have some positive charge, right? Hydrogen, it will develop some positive charge. So since both are polar, it will be mixing each other. On the other hand, you can see in the case of benzene, it do not have any charge. But on the other hand, water, it is having charge. It is having partial positive and partial negative charge in the atoms. So which makes it polar. So this is non-polar, right? Benzene, it is non-polar. Water, it is polar. So both cannot mix each other. But on the other hand, you can see hexane. Hexane, it is right. CH3, CH2, CH2. This is a hexane. Can you see any polarity here? Here the charges are equally distributed. There is no polarity. So and the benzene, that is also non-polar. Again, hexane also non-polar, right? So since both are non-polar, these two, it will mixes each other very well. So you know that this is what determines the solubility of the substances. If polar solute, it will dissolve in polar solvent. Non-polar solutes, it will dissolve in non-polar solvents. Okay, so this is the concept in fact. And again, what happens when we are dissolving the salt into a particular solvent? See, there will be indefinitely we cannot dissolve a particular salt, right? Okay, like for instance, you know, if I go into an example, I'm sorry, this is not working. Okay, so here, you know, you take 100 ml of water, you are adding sodium chloride. Okay, it will be, of course it will be dissolving. Okay, so you know, sodium chloride, when you are adding, it will be keep on dissolving, but there will it will reach a stage in which there will be no more dissolution happens. So you know, completely the whole capacity of water to dissolve a particular salt, that is called, in that situation, this solution we call it as saturated solution. In the saturated condition, you know, there will be no more dissolution happens. You know, the completely the salt will be dissolving. Okay, I mean, like the solution, it is completely saturated, no more salt can be dissolved. You know, in the opposite situation, you know, still there, if there is some space, you know, that those condition is called unsaturated solution. In unsaturated solution, you can still add salt, or you know, you can say solute. Okay, so you know, again, if actually, you know, in chemistry, you know, there are many wonders are there. We may not believe that, okay, those things are happening, but you know, we have to believe that certain things it is happening, actually may not be seeable by visible eye. See, for instance, you know, see, consider here, of course, here you have taken some solvent, some amount of solute, it has got dissolved. Okay, so you know, and you started adding sodium chloride. Let it be sodium chloride itself. Okay, so this is water, and you are adding more amount of salt. There will reach a stage in which there is no more dissolution happens. That point is called saturation, right? Okay, so you know, still you are adding, that means, you know, this salt, it will come and settle in the bottom. Am I right? Okay, so this salt, you know, it is still now actually we may feel like, okay, there is no more dissolution happens, right? But in fact, it is not the case. See, even if the salt dissolves, you know, it is settling in the bottom, there will be some amount of salt, it is going. So I will write it here. Okay, sodium chloride, some amount of salt, it is going into the solution, right? That means dissolution still happens. Then you may think, okay, then how come the point of saturation will comes, then how come the point of saturation is correct, right? Because if still salt is going into that is unsaturated. There you should know, in order to balance how much salt it is going into the solution, you know, some amount of salt over here. Okay, I will represent here some amount of salt over here, okay, which is in the solution. It will collide each other. It will collide each other and it will come back. It will be coming back here. Okay, so that means, you know, that process we call it as a crystallization. I mean, if more amount of salt or more amount of crystals are coming back into the solution, okay, coming and settling, that is called a crystallization. If more amount of, some amount of salt, it will be going back, that is going into the solution, that is called a dissolution, right? So these two processes, you know, it happens in a mutual way, you know, like some it goes, some it comes, some it goes and it comes. So we can say that this is a dissolution and crystallization. It is in equilibrium. That means the dissolution happens, and as soon as some sodium chloride goes into the solution, some amount of sodium chloride over here, it will hit each other and it will settle. Okay, and crystallization and dissolution process, it goes on happening in opposite way, right? Okay, and let's see some of the parameters. Okay, like a temperature and pressure have the effect on the solubility of solids and liquids. See, what is the effect of temperature? For instance, same way, you ordered sugar. Think that you have ordered a little excess, okay, some amount it will come and settle here. And there is no more dissolution is happening at this stage at a particular temperature and room temperature. You are adding, and see, this is, let it be water. And you started heating it once this settled up. What will happen? Little more excess, actually some amount of sugar from here, it will still go back into the solution. Okay, so this is that means when the temperature increases, the solubility of the solids in liquids generally it increases. Okay, so we can say that these kind of situations, I mean the dissolution process here, that is a delta H, it is endothermic process, that means it wants heat. Okay, so for dissolution purpose, it requires heat, so it absorbs heat from outside also. So if you are supplying some excess amount of heat externally, okay, you are additional, this is additional heat, right? Additional enthalpy. That means it more amount of solute it will get dissolved. Okay, so the generally heating have a positive effect on the dissolution process. The more salt it will dissolve up. Okay, but this is not the case in most of the cases, most of the solids. Okay, so here you take water. If you are adding calcium sulfate, into this, so what will happen when calcium sulfate is adding? If you hold the test tube and okay, if you hold the beaker, you can see that your hand, it will be warm. That means heat it is releasing out, right? So this type of process, this type of dissolution process, it is exothermic. Okay, that means more and more heat it is releasing out. Okay, so in these situations, so you can think in this way: you are eating and still your stomach is full, पेट फर हो गया. So you are still, if you are giving some more food, what will happen? You will be vomiting because you don't want it, right? You somehow, it want to, whatever you have already inside stomach also, you want it to get digested. Only then you can eat something else again. So, the same situation here. See, here already for this dissolution process, okay, the heat it is releasing out, okay. So it doesn't want heat again anymore to dissolve these solutes. For dissolution purpose itself, it want to release out the heat. Still, if you are heating, what will happen? If you are again supplying the heat, that means it doesn't want heat for dissolution. It want to release out the heat for dissolution. What will happen? Already some amount will be there, no? That also it will come and settle down. Okay. So in these type of salts, salts like calcium sulfate, solubility is inversely proportional to temperature. Okay. So, but on the other hand, in most of the salts like sugar, sodium chloride, and solubilities are directly proportional to the temperature. Okay. And what about the effect of pressure in the case of solubility? No effect. Simply no effect. That is, you can see, if you apply pressure, is there this pressure have some effect in the case of gases, because if you apply pressure, this gas molecule, it will compress in a smaller volume, then it is easy for that, some effect it will happen. Actually, the pressure of the gas, it will increases, or the, the volume, it will reduces, right? But, okay, but here in the case of liquids and all, if you apply pressure also, suppose from here, this is the level of liquid, okay, Do you think that it will compress up to this much? The compressibility of liquids is very, very, very less. So, pressure do not have any role in the case of solubility. In the case of, solids, okay, if you are dissolving, suppose, if you have dissolved some sugar, you are applying some pressure externally from here. No more, like the sugar dissolution have no effect actually. Okay, so this is the case of solubility of a liquid in solid in liquid. Now we will see the solubility of gases in solubility of gases in liquids. See, you might have seen, right, when you are at least some of you might have drink this 7-Up or Coca-Cola. Okay, let it be 7-Up or some soda. Here, you can see that the cap, it will be very tightly packed. So if we open it, so you can see that there will be some gaseous molecules. It will be coming, right, and it will be going out. At least you might have seen in the movies or like in the cricket matches and all, like these players, when they open this champagne, okay, the gas molecules, it will be releasing out. Am I right? Okay, see, that shows it inside the bottle. But if we see externally, like we can't see that much amount of gas is there. What it shows is, there will be some gas molecules. It is dissolved in this this water, okay, or like a soda. Actually the dissolution gases are dissolvable in water. In fact, the normal pond, normal water bodies, it also has some amount of oxygen gas dissolves in the water. That is what we call it as a DO. DO stand for dissolved oxygen. Okay, so this dissolved oxygen, that is what this fishes or piscus or the water organisms, this dissolved oxygen is the one they are consuming. Okay, and the same way, there are many gases. For instance, HCl. If you go to the laboratory, you will be seeing, okay, so HCl bottle. HCl is in fact a gas, but you will see that it is stored in the form of a liquid, right? How come this HCl can store in the form of a liquid? See, HCl is a highly dissolvable gas in water. So they either liquefy the HCl, or else they dissolve in water under pressure. Okay, so or even ammonia is also a gas. So but they are able to dissolve it in water, what we call it as ammonium hydroxide. Okay, so there are many gases, it is dissolvable in water. Of course, there are many gases which is not also. Okay, so let's see what is the effect of see in the case of, let it be, okay, see, consider that this is a piston, movable piston, and here some liquid is there. Here some some gas is there. Okay, so this is at a room temperature. I am not moving this piston. This is a movable piston, by the way. So if you apply pressure, okay, let this be the initial first position, and you started applying pressure. So it has moved up to this much extent. So this is the second position. What will happen to the gas molecules here? So when you are applying pressure, okay, all these gas molecules, it will come and occupy within a very, very, very smaller volume, right? Okay, so here so obviously these gas molecules, it will, okay, I will write this interface. Okay, so this is the liquid. So these are the gas molecules. Okay, so I am representing these things here. These are the gas molecules. What will happen to these gas molecules? Okay, so when it is confining in a very smaller volume, this gas molecule, it will come and collide with this surface of this liquid in a very faster rate. Okay, more and more amount of liquids it will be colliding. Okay, more and more amount of gases it will be colliding with the surface. Okay, so what will happen? These gas molecules, it will come and solubilizes. It will become soluble in water, in liquid, whatever the liquid it will be. Okay, so because there will be more collision, means there is more chance that these gas molecules, it can interact with the surface of the liquid. So this is the surface of the liquid, so more and more gases it will be interacting, and more gases it will be soluble also. But on the other hand, there is less pressure, right? When there is less pressure, these gas molecules, it is confining in a bigger volume. So if less amount of gas molecule only can hit with the liquid, and obviously the solubility, it will be coming down. See, we can see the live example. If you open the soda or 7-Up, what will happen? See, we can see that previously there was no disturbance. If you open it, you can see that these gas molecules, it is coming up, it is going out, right? So what will happen? Previously, when it was closed, when we closed it, the pressure was high inside that. There was more pressure, so there is high chance that the gas can collide, and there was more dissolution. When you open the cap, okay, so it is coming into room temperature and pressure. See, what is the room pressure? It is 1 atmospheric pressure. Previously, inside maybe it was 5 or 10 atmospheric pressure will be there. So once you open it, okay, pressure is decreasing, so more amount of gases it is going out, right? Solubility of the gases are coming down only. So let's quantitatively, the relation between solubility of gases in liquid, gases and liquids, it was given by Henry. Okay, so what we call it as Henry's law. According to Henry's law, solubility of the gas, okay, or the mole fraction of the gas, it is mole fraction of the gas in the mole fraction of gas in the liquid is directly proportional to the partial pressure above that, partial pressure of that gas above that. Okay, I can say, like, okay, suppose there is some gases. How much is the pressure of this gas? How much is the pressure of that particular gas is there? Proportional to there will be that gas, it will be soluble in this solvent. That is what it is said by Henry's law. More the pressure of the gas above the solvent or liquid, okay, more will be the solubility of it. So we can write it as KH into P. So this is the mathematical statement of Henry's law. See, you please remember the KH is called Henry's constant. Okay, okay, so Henry's constant, it has some importance actually. So if I tell you the importance, see, I will tell you few gases. For instance, let it be oxygen gas at 298 Kelvin. Okay, 293 Kelvin. Oxygen gas at 293 Kelvin. Its KH is okay. Let it be, the unit is kilobar. In fact, the bar and Pascal, the ATM, it is nearly same. Okay, so oxygen for it is 34.86. okay, and for carbon dioxide, this KH, it is 1.67. okay, and again, for you take one more gas, helium, you can say it is 144.97. now you can say, okay, See, you know there are three gases. Of course, you know that some amount of oxygen is dissolved in water, right? In the water bodies and aqueous bodies. And you know very well that carbon dioxide, how much it is soluble. Carbon dioxide is a highly soluble gas in liquid, right? That is why we are able to drink soda or like different types of carbonaceous drinks. What about helium? It is not at all soluble in water or else any solvents. Okay, so the question is, okay, so of course you know these are all you know KH values in the bottom. The question is, which among the gas it is soluble in, highly soluble in water? It is carbon dioxide. See the Henry's constant, it is 1.67, right? And you know for helium it is 144.97. That shows more the Henry's constant, that means that gas is going to be least soluble. Less amount of Henry's constant means more solubility of the gas. Okay, so KH is inversely proportional to solubility of the gas, right? Solubility of the gas in liquid. So here you know it is see here the KH value, it is very small, right? Okay, so you know it is least soluble. Here the helium, you know, the KH value is very high. So sorry, carbon dioxide it is very less, right? So it is more soluble. That means the least value of Henry's constant means it is more soluble. High value of Henry's constant means less soluble. Okay, so this is what the Henry's constant says. And you know, if you take the relation between partial pressure and solubility of the gas, you know, you can say that this is partial pressure of the gas, this is the mole fraction of the gas in liquid. Okay, you will get almost a straight line, which shows that both holds a linear relationship. If you increase one quantity, next quantity it will increase. That means, you know, if you increase the pressure, the mole fraction also increases, right? Mole fraction of the gas in the liquid, it is increases. So this is it about, you know, the solubility of the gases in liquids. Okay, and let's see now the role of temperature. See, leaving the example of temperature, it is very easy. Hope you know, hope you make a tea, right? Or tea or coffee. See, you know, see, think that you are drinking tea. You kept it for for cooling, not for cooling. You just left it for some time. So when you come and observe, okay, if you observe it, you know, you can see that some amount of dusty particles it will be there, or like a tea powder it will be there. Tea powder it will be there in the bottom. What it shows, when the temperature decreases, okay, you know, okay, I'm sorry, actually I'll tell you in terms of gas. See, okay, you opened some soda, so opened it, so all the gases it started going out. Okay, carbon dioxide gases started going out, and you saw that okay, almost most of the gases gone off. But then you started doing one thing again, you started heating. Then you can see that still there will be bubbles, you know, it is coming out, more amount of bubbles. Once you started heating, you know, more, you can see that more amount of bubbles, you know, it is started releasing out. What it shows, that means when the temperature is increasing, the gases which is present there already, okay, still remaining also it is coming out. That means, you know, if you increase the temperature, the solubility of the gases it will decreases, you know, what is already there also it will goes off. So temperature have an inverse relationship on solubility of gases. If you increase the temperature, you know, the gas solubility it will be decreasing up. Okay, so this is the effect of temperature in the case of solubility of different gases. That's it.